Welcome to the third and final lesson of the email marketing course. In this one, I'm going to be giving you a bunch of tips on how to get more of your emails delivered to the proper inbox and get people to click on them, and just a bunch of instantly implementable tips for you to get better results with your email marketing. So I'm in my ActiveCampaign dashboard. If you still haven't grabbed that, make sure you get your free ActiveCampaign account at the link in the description. So I'm going to click on create a campaign, which, if you remember from lesson 1, is just how to send a one-time email to whatever contacts that you want to. So we're going to call this one like this video and subscribe, and we're going to move on from there. So if I wanted to just send it to all my contacts, of course, I would just click right here, as you can imagine, and then I'm going to click next. I don't know why that is showing up. It's going to first give you this option of which one you want to do. If you are just doing a basic text email, I do the classic designer. I don't do the text only one. That's a little bit too bare bones, but I'm going to do the classic designer. If you wanted to do a more graphic, intense email, then that's where you would pick that first one. So I'm just going to go with basic template, and then of course you can start with the template. If you like any of these, great. And you can also start with a past email that you've sent, which is basically how I always do it. And I actually am going to just do that just so we have an email to look at, because this one performed really well. So let's cover this right here, the from email. If you use a Gmail, then you're not going to get many of your emails. So this is the first tip. You have to send from a business email. So mine is going to be derek@socialbamboo.com. All right. And this is very important. So wherever you bought your domain from is where you would set up this business email. And a lot of you already have this ready, but just make sure you're doing this, because if you send from a Gmail, you're going to get about 20 to 30% less people to see this email just from doing that. So boom, there's how to increase your open rate by quite a bit. The other thing, tip number 2, is going to be your name. Now, this is very important, because when someone is choosing to open up an email and they see, oh, got an email from Derek Videll, here's the subject line, and then there's the preview text below it, the subject line does have a large influence on getting them to open it or not. But the thing that has an even bigger influence is your name itself. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that when you send emails, people are glad they opened them. This is the biggest thing that you can do to influence your open rate, is people know you. They say, oh, Derek Videll, oh, he always brings the value. Like, there's nothing that will get people to open my emails more than having an actual good reputation in reality. So this is not me giving you a tip, like, make sure you do like Derek Videll, like social media. Like, you don't have, like, you can totally like doctor it up if you want to. If you're a personal brand, it's probably just going to be your name. If you're a company, you can put like Derek from Stan, or like whatever company you are from, and you can get people used to hearing from you, like from that company. Or you can just title it your company can be the from name. But it's just to know that there's nothing that can get people to open your emails. There's no tactic that can do it more than them knowing you as someone that consistently provides value. So you want to make sure your emails aren't just like, hey, here's a link to my new YouTube video, and like that's your whole email. You want to actually give great value in these. And in this email that I'm about to show you, I am promoting a YouTube video. So I'll show you what I mean by like, make sure you give them value outside of just like sending them, to a link. All right. So that is the biggest thing that can influence your open rate, is your name itself. Now the email subject, this is going to be the second biggest thing to get them to open it. And this is also something that you don't really want to look up. Email subject ideas is not a good idea, actually, because you're looking for how to provide just enough curiosity for someone to open it. And there's nothing that will get you better at making email subject lines than being able to put yourself in the shoes of your customer receiving that email and then opening it up and just saying, like, if I were them, would I open it? Like there's going to be no more powerful of a question that you can ask yourself than, if I was them, would I open this? So you want to use like a cliffhanger / curiosity builder. Maybe you say the secret to Instagram marketing in 2024 is this, right? Rather than saying 3 tips on how to grow your Instagram. Like that's pretty good, but like you really got to like oversell it just a little bit. And it's not overselling it if the email delivers. So I'm not saying be clickbaity, because clickbaity would be like overpromise, underdeliver is kind of what clickbaity is. I'm saying overpromise on your subject and overdeliver on your emails. And if you write the email first, that is a lot of times the better order to go about than creating your subject after. However, what you would have to do if you write the email and then you make the subject after, is you might have to change the first paragraph of your email, because you need to make sure that however they click on that subject line, that they are instantly brought into an email that is catering to why they clicked on the email. Like a lot of people will be like, the #1 Instagram marketing tip of 2024 is this ... And then they open it up and it's like, hey Cheryl, I hope your week's going great. Here's a few things that I learned about Instagram this year. And they're like, wait, I thought I was learning about like the #1 Instagram tip. And like now you're just like saying hi. So it needs to match up. Like the email subject line, the reason why they clicked on it, you want to make sure that the first couple lines of your email keeps them flowing with why they clicked on that. Otherwise, you're going to get people like, it was clickbait, and then they're going to leave, even if you delivered on it at the very end of the email. So for that reason, writing the subject first is a great way to go about it, because then you're going to be working through the customer journey in the order that they're going to be experiencing it. So try that out. But I know there's sometimes I'm like, I don't really know like what I want to call the email subject line yet. So then I write the whole email, and then I come back to it. If you do it that way, just make sure that you, make sure it all flows well. So just to stick with this, the #1 Instagram, gotta capitalize that, Instagram marketing tip of 2024 is this. Now, this is really long, and this like probably wouldn't display in someone's inbox effectively. Like it would cut off like right around here or something. So, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's not something that I want you to think is templatable. The other thing that I might do with subject lines too, I think it looks better to capitalize the first word, first letter of every word. So this is more my style. You can also put emojis in there. And then the other thing you can do, you can click on this lightning, and then it will come up with all of these things that you can put in. So you can say like first name, right? And then you can click save. And what that would do is it would make it so their first name, whatever you have on file for them, would go right there. So everyone knows about this, where it's you open the email, it says like, hey Derek, and it says your name there. You can also do that in the subject line, which is typically more effective because people haven't caught on to that as an automated thing yet, nearly as much as they have like at the beginning of an email when it says like, hey, your name, like, like they didn't send this email to just you. But when it's in the subject line, it can catch their attention a little bit better. So don't be afraid to use their first name, which is the sweetest word to any person, according to Dale Carnegie, and put that in the email subject line, get that extra attention. So opening up the email here, you're going to notice that I do a lot of spaces in between like pretty much every sentence. And this is how you're going to want to do it. When people open it up and they see paragraph format, it doesn't look good, especially on mobile. You're going to get a lot of people that just want nothing to do with it. You want your emails to be readable for someone who wants to spend the time to read the whole thing, but then also skimmable for someone who's just like, what is this about? Okay, got it. So for that reason, it's a good idea to space it out like this. You could also bold certain text that you feel like, hey, if they're gonna skim this thing, as long as they see this sentence, then great. You can like bold a whole sentence or just a part of it, and that's a great idea to do. Now, something that will hurt your deliverability is if your bold text to regular text ratio is too high. So I would say you don't want more than 5% of your text to be bolded. Otherwise, that will hurt your deliverability. So keep your total text under 5% of it bold, and you will be good. And now another thing is when you put an image in your emails, you need to put this info text here. Now, depending on your CRM, it will either say info or it will say alt text. And what you're going to do is you're going to describe the image. The reason why this is there is describing the image for visually impaired people is why this functionality technically exists. However, the reason why it's super important to do is because this will really get you a lot more of your emails delivered to the primary inbox if you always fill in the text for your images. So be sure you do that as well. Now, the other thing we're going to be talking about is how to actually get them to click a link in the email, because usually the email's goal is not just to get them to read the email and goal accomplished. The goal is to get them to read the email, enjoy the email, and then go to wherever we are promoting them to go to. And because we are trying to get them off of their email onto YouTube or off of their email onto your website, that is why you need to hold their attention and get them indoctrinated into consuming content from you first before you really try to send them to another place. All right, so in this one where I'm promoting them to go to my YouTube video, I am not just saying, hey guys, like I just want to let you know I have a new YouTube video. That's not effective for two reasons. One, not a lot of people will click it. And two, even if they do click it, they're not going to watch very much of that YouTube video, which will hurt my YouTube video. So you want to know that when you're trying to send them to content, you're trying to send them to your content in a way that they'll be like, oh, I got to watch this whole thing. I'm going to watch this video and I'm going to watch the whole thing. So maybe you can allude in the email to like, hey, make sure you watch my 7 tips on Instagram Reels video, because tip number 7 is going to be a game changer for your business this year, or tip number 6, right? You're just going to allude to why they're going to watch to the end of the video before you send them there is very important, because you don't want to send a bunch of your emails to YouTube to get them to watch 20 seconds of your video to be like, wait, what am I doing? Like, I'm on email right now. This guy took me off email and brought me to YouTube. Like, what am I doing? Like, you want to make sure that they give it the engagement that you're really looking for them to give you, because otherwise, it's just going to hurt your average watch time, which would hurt your video. So what I'm doing here is I'm giving all of this information. It's really like the same kind of content that is covered at the beginning of the email, but then I kind of lead to it by saying, this is going to be a game changer for you today, and I really sell them on why it's so great, but also why, like, I can't even explain this in an email properly. Sometimes I'll use text like that, like, I would love to give you more value in the email, but really you seeing this in action is going to do so much better for you. So be sure to watch this video and you'll know exactly how to do this. And you're going to want to promote a lot of times why I would love to give you more value in the email, but I can't because it's just text. So like, you have to watch this video. You have to go check out this image on my site or whatever. So another tip of how you could use this if you have an e-commerce store, I had the email marketing heroes on my podcast one time, and they said that their e-commerce like product emails that don't have images of that product actually do the best for sales. And now the reason why is because they can't buy anything from your email. They can only buy it from your website. So maybe you're an artist and you say, guys, I'm so proud of my new painting. Like, I can't believe it turned out like this after 12 hours of working on it and then messing up. And then I had to redo this part and this part. And then I put another 12 hours in, like, it's finally complete. It's my best work yet. If you'd like to see it, click here. That will get you more people to click the link in your email to then go see it for the first time, rather than you say, here it is, and if you want to buy it, here's the link. So think about it that way too. You want the link to not just be, and if you want to buy, click the link. Like, you want it to be like, and if you want to see the grand unveiling of what I'm talking about, click the link. And that's going to be how you actually get results from your email marketing, is leaving a little bit of the surprise in the link. So the last tip I'm going to give you for email writing is just where to get your ideas from, because a lot of times the best email marketers don't just throw you into this long automation sequence and just let you play it out over however long. They're coming up with new emails a lot of times every day. So Email Marketing Heroes is someone I follow. Another person that I think writes tremendous emails, Ian Stanley. You're gonna want to know, are you someone who's a great writer or not? And for me, writing's not my strong suit. I'm better on video and audio. So like, the goal of my emails is to give them a little bit of value, get them off the email. But if you're a really great writer, then you might have a strategy that's more based on storytelling format for your emails. And how a lot of these people do it, Dan Henry is another one. I just got a really long email from him and I read the whole thing. And the subject line was like, how I beat a 3-year depression. And he just talks about this whole story about his life. And then at the very bottom, he promotes his $97 a month program. So where these ideas come from is just you living life and thinking, hey, like this restaurant that I had this really bad experience with the waiter, like how can I teach my audience about this story and then relate it to whatever my main message is in my business. You're trying to take things that happen in your life and then translate them into a teaching topic is where your best information will come from, because you're going to want to tell a story if you're going to do long emails. So keep that in mind, where your ideas come from. If you're trying to send emails all the time, which is a great strategy, is to be taking stories from your life and relating them to your market. Moving on to the very last thing that we are covering in this 3-part series is how to go over the results and the analytics of your emails to see if you even did a good job. Because a lot of times I've had students say, hey, I got like 40% open rate. And I'm like, that's really good. Like they don't know what numbers are good. And for that reason, you might be sad about great numbers or, the inverse. So like you're really happy about your bad results. So let's talk about the results of this email that I sent out a few days ago. The open rate, 42%. That's really solid. Anything between 20 and 30% is good. Anything, I'll say even like 28% to 35% is really good. And then anything over 35% is great. So this email performed extremely well. And I believe the subject line of this one was, let me pull that up real quick. I said new real strategy to 2x your posting with 0 extra work. So that is the subject line that worked really well, that got me that open rate, but also people are accustomed to receiving a lot of value from me when they open up my emails. So remember that your name is still going to be a huge reason for your consistent high open rates. The click-through rate is the amount of people that opened the email and then went through and clicked on the link. This is a decent click-through rate. I'd say 1 to 2% is good, 2 to 3% is great. Any more than that, you are absolutely crushing it. The more what I look for is a ratio of the clicks to unsubscribes. So the first test to say it was a good email is your clicks was higher than your unsubscribes, because it means that more people got value from this and then took the next step from your email, then said, hey, I don't even want any more of your emails. And make sure you're not scared of unsubscribes, because you don't ever say oh, I don't want to send emails because I'll get unsubscribes, because it doesn't do anything if you don't send emails in the first place. You don't want to get a lot of unsubscribes, obviously, but don't fear sending emails to get unsubscribes, because the other thing is, if they don't want your content anymore, you don't want them on your email list. It's better that they unsubscribe rather than stay on your email list and never open emails, because that will affect your sender score. And your sender score is going to be tied to your from email. So mine is Derek@socialbamboo.com. Basically look at that that is your Instagram handle. And the more people that open your emails and click on them, those are likes and comments if you relate it back to Instagram, and that will build up your reputation score. Unsubscribes don't hurt it that much. More what hurts it is people reporting you as a malicious email, or they don't remember signing up for you. So what I will say is how to avoid that is I like to include a picture of myself at the bottom of the emails, especially because a lot of my emails come from people watching my YouTube videos. And we all know you've gotten those emails before where you're like, who the hell is this? I'm sure I signed up for this person's list, but I don't know who they are. And then you see their picture and you're like, oh, it's the guy from the Facebook ad, right? So I like to put a picture of myself the bottom of my emails, because it's harder to unsubscribe from a person rather than just text. So that would be one other way to protect your sender score, is include a picture of yourself at the bottom. Bounces are just bad emails. It looks like maybe they got rid of that email or whatever, or they just typed it in wrong. So that's not really something to worry too much about. I just make sure that my open rate was higher than 30% and my clicks was higher than my unsubscribes, and I say it was a good email. And then of course take note if you get over 40%, then however you did that subject line, you're going to want to reflect that into future emails because you crushed it. So guys, that wraps up the email marketing course for 2024. Comment whatever you want, any questions, like this video, like all the other ones too. I think I forgot to say that. And you can DM me on Instagram at socialbamboo with an underscore at the end if you could use any further help. I appreciate you watching these, and good luck out there.